AITA for refusing to move in with my long-term GF until our sex life improves. NSFW. Backstory. So this one may require some backstory to build up to the big argument which happened a few days ago. I, 23M, have been with my Janine, fake name, 23F, for 8 years now. We began as school sweethearts and have had our ups and downs, but for the most part have been a very happy couple for that whole time. We love each other's families, really enjoy each other's company, and have known for a while we wanted to tie the knot and settle down at some point. Talk of moving in together has been on the cards for a while, but we wanted to stand firm on our plan to buy rather than rent, so we have been saving for years now and are both in a position where we feel as though we can afford a deposit and have enough outside of that to make mortgage payments with both our salaries. Everything feels perfect except for one thing: our sex life. For the past 2 years this area has been near on non-existent. Initially the sex began to ramp down in frequency at what I thought was natural. Every few days became once a week, but this felt normal. We still live at home so it can be awkward, but this was what I felt to be natural now for where we were in our relationship. However, as time went on this dwindled more and more, and we are now in the position to having not had sex in 4 months. I have tried to initiate, but I get the cold shoulder so frequently that it has burnt out any wanting for me to try. At first when I questioned this, Janine told me she was feeling a lot of pain. Of course I didn't want to force her into anything, so we stopped then and began looking for ways to help. Initially we believed this to be vaginismus, but over time we realized the symptoms didn't quite match up to what we thought, so kept looking. Well, I kept looking. Janine didn't show any signs of wanting to push to help this. I recommended doctor's appointments, but she disagreed with the need to go to the doctors for this. I mentioned therapy and she shot this down too. I would research home remedies and she would read what I sent over and disregard it as, that won't work for me. Initially with the pain we settled on performing different acts that required no penetration, but this did not last long. She would always turn down advances and blame a particular element of my approach. I came on too strong, I wasn't coming on enough to get her going. I initiated too quickly, I took too long, and now she's turned off. It's not spontaneous enough, it's too spontaneous, and I didn't give her enough time to prepare. It's too loud in the house, it's too quiet and will be heard, etc. This really knocked my confidence and made me consider ending things, but every other aspect of our relationship was perfect, so I didn't want to say anything. Anyways, on to the present. The argument. When we first began looking for places, I mentioned our sex life and stated that I didn't feel comfortable getting a mortgage together if we didn't have an active sex life, as it would be harder for both of us to deal with at that point. She was taken aback by this, but after discussion agreed we'd keep looking and she would work on becoming more active sexually. That was a year ago. Fast forward to the past few weeks and we realized our finances were in the right place to move. Janine asked what day I would like to go and speak with a mortgage advisor, and I told her I didn't. She was confused and asked what I meant, and I explained as above. In the year I had been saving for this mortgage under the agreement to move in should she work on rebuilding our sex life. In that year she had done nothing and taken no action, even going the 4 months without initiating or engaging with me about this. As said before, I didn't want to force her but wanted to see some form of effort at being more intimate in our relationship. She stopped kissing me without my initiation in this time also. She has seen 0 doctors in this time for her medical issues and has refused my advances of couples therapy. When I finished explaining, I said our finances are there, but I am not ready to pursue this next stage together without work on our sex life. She was furious with me and stated that I was holding our future at ransom to have more sex. She stormed out and I haven't heard from her since, other than a text message telling me she wasn't coming to a dinner date I had planned and to call her when I had decided to not be an a-hole anymore. Whilst I feel that my intentions weren't cruel, I now feel like I may be the a-hole for building up to this point of building our finances to suddenly halt it like this. I understand her feelings of betrayal, but I just can't move in knowing our sex life is going to continue non-existent. AITA?